Greetings from our channel again. Clint Eastwood is a living Hollywood legend whose rugged, stoic, yet intensely emotional characters have enthralled millions of spectators worldwide. The startling reality is that he has overcome innumerable obstacles throughout his life, despite his resilient facade. Even at the age of 94, he hasn't and #039 slowed down from a lad from a working-class family who had a difficult upbringing to becoming one of the world and #039's cinematic icons. The fact that Clint and #039's love life is equally fascinating, with relationships spanning decades that he only disclosed as he grew older, is even more fascinating. That and #039's not all, though. How is Clint doing these days? Which opulent residences does he own? And what motivated a man in his 90s who once contemplated quitting Hollywood to keep sweeping the big screen? Come along as we examine some of Clint Eastwood and #039's lesser-known facets of his life and work. He is a legend for his roles as well as the complex and difficult life he has led. Early life. On May 31, 1930, Clint Eastwood was born in San Francisco at St. Francis Memorial Hospital. Because he weighed more than 11 pounds at birth, he impressed the nurses right away and was given the moniker Samson, which was a reference to his inner strength. Ruth Runner and Clinton Eastwood Sr., who had a mixed ancestry of English, Irish, Scottish, and Dutch ancestry, had an older son named Clint. Being a 12th-generation descendant of William Bradford, one of the passengers of the Mayflower, a representation of the early immigrants in America, his family history is also linked to American history. But Clint didn't and #039's have a happy childhood. The Eastwoods traveled about a lot in the 1930s because his father and #039's employment were continually changing. Clint had to adjust to new surroundings with every transfer, including friends and schools. The family did, however, find a more permanent residence in Piedmont, California, in 1940. With a swimming pool and other material amenities, the Eastwood family and #039's house reflected the area and #039's relative prosperity. However, in spite of the illusion of affluence, Clint actually had trouble becoming interested in academics. Clint was notable at school for his rebellious attitude rather than his scholastic accomplishments. Because of his bad grades, he was held back and had to catch up with his classmates by going to summer classes. Clint was expelled from Piedmont High School for mischievous actions including burning effigies on school property or writing derogatory remarks on report cards. He was compelled to transfer to Oakland Technical High School as a result, where he too lacked academic desire. Teachers pushed Clint to appear in school plays because they thought he had ability, but he was much more interested in hobbies like cars, athletics, and piano playing. Clint Eastwood was drafted into the military and stationed at Fort Ord in California in 1951, when the Korean War started. He was assigned to serve as a lifeguard at the base rather than in battle. In this period, Clint had a life-altering experience when his jet crashed, requiring him and the pilot to swim for hours in order to survive. This experience strengthened and fortified Clint. Additionally, Clint worked at a variety of occupations during his adolescent years in order to support himself. He was a grocery clerk, a lifeguard, a newspaper delivery man, and even a caddy at a golf course. Despite the difficulties he encountered, Clint gained useful skills from these employment. From interacting with others to cultivating tolerance at work. Hollywood triumph and the start of a career. Clint Eastwood started his cautious foray into the glitzy world of Hollywood after serving in the military at Fort Ord, California. But like many aspiring performers, Clint had several obstacles to overcome in the beginning of his profession. He was given small parts that didn't and #039's give him any recognition because he didn't and #039's have any big chances. Clint was only given little, unimportant roles with few lines in films like Tarantula, 1955, a science fiction film with a straightforward plot, and Revenge of the Creature, 1955, a B-movie monster movie. Even though he was unable to leave a lasting impression, these pieces provided a solid basis for his acting career and helped him become acquainted with the harsh world of film. when he was chosen to play Rowdy Yates in the Rawhide television western. In addition to putting Clint in the public eye and establishing his familiarity with American viewers, this program gave him the chance to fully immerse himself in the Hollywood television industry. During Rawhide and #039's 200-episode run from 1959 to 1965, Clint emerged as one of the show and #039's most notable stars. Rowdy Yates, a youthful, bold, and strong cowboy, won over the hearts of the audience. But for Clint, this was only the beginning of his search for more important and difficult jobs. Clint, who was 30, thought he no longer fit the stereotype of a young, unskilled man. He required a more nuanced and multifaceted character. Despite the financial success that Rawhide brought him, he soon became weary of the rigorous work schedule and the monotonous quality of the show and #039's material. Clint felt that Rowdy Yates didn't and #039's provide him with the challenge and individuality he required to advance in his acting profession. Clint Eastwood and #039's acceptance of an invitation to star in Sergio Leone and #039's spaghetti western trilogy in the middle of the 1960s marked a significant turning point in his life. A Fistful of Dollars, 1964, For a Few Dollars More, 1965, and The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, 1966, were among the films that represented a major turning point in Clint and #039's career. Clint became a global celebrity for his portrayal of the man with no name, a shady, icy, and resolute gunslinger. The conventional American cowboy persona was far different from this figure. The man with no name was a complicated character who was both wonderful and bad, merciless but incredibly human. He was and #039's the perfect hero. This established a new benchmark for the cinematic representation of cowboy heroes. The Dollars trilogy became a cultural icon in addition to being an economic triumph. The trilogy became a spaghetti western masterpiece thanks to its brutal desert settings, exciting action scenes, and fierce character conflicts. Clint Eastwood portrayed a legendary cowboy character that audiences had never seen before thanks to his steely look, few facial gestures, and straightforward acting approach. Clint became an international cinema star with these flicks, surpassing his prominence as a television star. But Clint and #039's career was not limited to the cowboy genre. He further cemented his reputation in the early 1970s by portraying Harry Callahan, a tough and unyielding San Francisco police officer who was not hesitant to use violence to apprehend criminals, in the Dirty Harry movie series. Dirty Harry, whose real name was Harry Callahan, became the archetypal anti-hero. Instead of being a traditional, moral police officer, he was one who was prepared to breach the law in order to uphold the rule of law. Clint and #039's image as a representation of toughness and masculinity was further strengthened by this part. A new generation of police and crime films was sparked by the commercial and cultural success of Dirty Harry in 1971. A new generation of American film and #039's anti-heroes were characterized by this figure, and Clint and #039's portrayal of Harry Callahan became a cultural icon. Later motion pictures like As Magnum Force, 1973, The Enforcer, 1976, Sudden Impact, 1983, and The Deadpool, 1988, further solidified Clint and #039's position as the genre and #039's dominant force. Clint Eastwood became one of the most well-known and significant actors of his time from both Dirty Harry and the Dollars trilogy. But for Clint, these positions were only the start of a lengthy journey that would require both inventiveness and perseverance. He wanted to establish himself as a skilled director in addition to being a fantastic performer. Clint would eventually fulfill this goal, gaining recognition as a director by directing many Oscar-winning pictures that are now considered global cinema classics. Crowning achievement in directing and major honors. Clint Eastwood steadily rose to prominence as a director thanks to his deep and subtle ability to convey narratives through visual images. Clint and #039's career took a significant shift when he decided to focus on directing after being a successful actor. He went on to receive many important honors, and that wasn't and hashtag 039, T by accident. Including 2 Best Director Academy Awards. Unforgiven, a 1992 Western that Clint not only directed but also starred in, was one of the first notable films that distinguished his career as a director. Clint transformed the conventional Western genre with Unforgiven. This movie provided a deeper examination of violence, regret, and the consequences of past deeds rather than heroic cowboy clichés. William Money, the protagonist, is a former assassin who is troubled by his previous transgressions. Against the backdrop of the untamed American West, Unforgiven deftly explores his inner anguish. In addition to being a box office hit, the movie was widely praised by critics and took home 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director for Clint Eastwood. He kept reviewers and fans enthralled with Million Dollar Baby, 2004. A youthful, driven female fighter trained by an elderly boxing instructor, played by Clint himself, is the subject of the film and hashtag 039's intensely emotional narrative. Million Dollar Baby is more than just a sports tale, it and hashtag 039's a profound meditation on sacrifice, humanity, and life and hashtag 039's purpose. Clint produced a moving and emotionally complex work of art by concentrating on the characters and hashtag 039 psychological growth and using simple storytelling. He won 2 additional Oscars for the movie, this time for Best Picture and Best Director. With these 2 films, Clint cemented his reputation as a world-class filmmaker with a unique and impactful style, in addition to being a top performer. Clint Eastwood is well known for his straightforward yet powerful directing. He frequently concentrates on the feelings of his characters, delving into topics of internal conflict and how individuals deal with adversity. Clint uses the characters and hashtag 039 actions and the images to narrate the story rather than long discourse. His films have a subtle power because of this technique, which evokes powerful feelings without using dramatic dialogue. He is also renowned for working quickly and effectively. He frequently completes scenes in a few takes, putting a focus on natural performances and honesty. In addition to his successful roles in films, Clint Eastwood left a lasting effect as a director of pictures in which he did not appear. One of the best examples is Mystic River, 2003. The plot of this criminal drama centers on 3 childhood friends whose lives are ripped apart by a catastrophe, leaving them with permanent emotional wounds. Mystic River received multiple significant accolades and nominations, including an Oscar, thanks to the outstanding performances by the cast and Clint and hashtag 039's understated filmmaking style. Another noteworthy piece is the 2006 war movie Letters from Iwo Jima, which takes a novel and incredibly personal approach by telling the story of the well-known fight on the island of Iwo Jima from the viewpoint of Japanese soldiers. By examining the nuanced aspects of conflict and compassion in other cultures, Letters from Iwo Jima showed that Clint and hashtag 039's directing abilities went beyond American tales. The movie was widely praised and nominated for an Oscar for Best Foreign Language Film. One of the few filmmakers who can maintain originality and impact across several decades is Clint Eastwood. In addition to being technically impressive, his films teach viewers important humanistic principles that resonate with them on a deep level. With more than 30 films to his credit, Clint has established himself as one of the biggest names in film, not just for his successful acting career but also for his ability to use his camera to produce genuine works of art. Personal life and romantic relationships. Clint Eastwood and hashtag 039's love life has been far more complicated, full of ups and downs, and not without controversy, despite his career on screen being a brilliant journey of accomplishments and major prizes. In addition to being a Hollywood celebrity, Clint is well known for his varied and frequently contentious relationships. He has fathered 8 children with 6 different women. In 1953, Clint married Margaret Neville Johnson for the first time. After meeting on a blind date, the couple got married right away. When Clint was still an unknown actor, Margaret was renowned for supporting him during the difficult early years of his profession. Their marriage appeared stable at first, but things became more problematic when Clint entered the world of Hollywood and its many temptations. Despite being married for more than 30 years, Clint and hashtag 039's extramarital romances posed a continual danger to their union. Roxanne Tunis was involved in one of the most well-known of these liaisons. In 1959, Clint met a stunt woman. Roxanne gave birth to Clint and #039's daughter Kimber in 1964 during their 14-year relationship, which spanned 1959 to 1973. Notably, Clint and Roxanne and #039's paternity was kept a secret for a long time. This narrative wasn't #039 made public till Kimber was older and realized where she originated from. Although their relationship was kept under wraps, it was intensely passionate, and at the age of 93, Clint came clean and said that Roxanne Tunis was his true love. Many fans were shocked to learn this because they thought Sandra Locke, Clint and #039's well-known companion from the 1970s and 1980s, was the most significant lady in his life. Clint Eastwood first met Sandra Locke in 1972 while working together on the movie The Outlaw, Josie Wales. A romantic relationship that lasted more than 10 years was swiftly formed between the two, but it ended in bitterness. Sandra Locke openly chastised Clint for being dishonest and breaching their agreement. Following a round of litigation and court battles against Clint, their relationship ended in 1989. Included Sandra and #039's claims that he coerced her into getting an abortion. Their relationship became a big topic in the media as a result of Sandra and #039's constant criticism of Clint in interviews during this protracted legal battle. Although Clint and #039's relationship with Sandra Locke was the most contentious, he still thought that his romance with Roxanne Tunis was the most unforgettable. Clint had always harbored sentiments for Roxanne, despite their long-ago separation, and maintained communication until her death in 2023. This relationship demonstrates the depth and complexity of Clint and #039's romantic life, since he remained close to the women who came and went in his life, irrespective of how their relationships turned out. Clint Eastwood and #039's romance with actress Frances Fisher was one of many other relationships that were connected to his love life. Francesca Eastwood, their daughter, was born in 1993 after they started dating in the early 1990s. Clint and #039's relationship with Frances Fisher, a gifted actress, was less dramatic and more tranquil than his other relationships. However, this partnership terminated amicably and lasted only until the mid-1990s. Clint and flight attendant Jocelyn Reeves became involved at about the same time. Scott and Catherine Eastwood were born in 1986 and 1988, respectively, to the parents. Scott Eastwood became a great actor by following in his father and #039's footsteps and frequently discussed how his father influenced his acting career. Clint always tried to keep a positive relationship with his children, helping them in their personal and professional life, even though he did not openly admit his relationship with Jocelyn Reeves at the time. Clint Eastwood has tried to keep his relationship with his kids close. Many of them, like Scott and Allison Eastwood, went into the entertainment business after him. A gifted actor and director, Allison is Clint and #039's daughter from his marriage to Margaret. Clint and #039's relationship with his kids is a testament to his commitment as a father. In spite of his several tumultuous relationships and marriages, he remained a loving parent who helped them through life. For Clint, Roxanne Tunis and #039's death in 2023 was a major blow. Despite their long-ago separation, Clint and Roxanne maintained a strong relationship for many years. He publicly acknowledged that Roxanne was the genuine love of his life and that her passing had left him with a deep sense of sorrow. For many admirers, it was an emotional and unexpected declaration. The story of Clint Eastwood and #039's romance didn't and #039 stop there. Clint found stability with Christina Sandera, whom he started seeing in 2014, after a string of troubled relationships. The two dated for a number of years when Christina was working as a manager at the Mission Ranch Hotel. In addition to becoming Clint and #039's life partner, Christina was a pillar of support for him in both his personal and professional spheres. But when Christina unexpectedly died of a heart attack in July 2024 at the age of 61, their romance came to an abrupt stop. Clint revealed that he was deeply saddened by her passing because she was a good and loving person. Clint had to adjust to life without his cherished companion, which was a tremendous loss. Intense feelings and emotions are evident in Clint Eastwood and #039's personal and sexual life, but he also has a nuanced and profoundly human side. Even after going through a lot of romances, love affairs, and even tense court cases, Clint still presents a strong and resilient demeanor in both his personal and professional lives. Current life and health. Despite the widespread belief that Clint Eastwood has reached the pinnacle of his career and is now content to retire in peace, he maintains an active lifestyle and is steadfastly following his love of filmmaking. At this point in his life, a major portion of it consists of the remarkable real estate holdings he has amassed during his prosperous career. With residences located in California, Idaho, and Hawaii, Clint Eastwood possesses an impressive real estate portfolio. His house in the charming Californian seaside town of Carmel by the Sea is one of his favorite spots. In addition to being a perfect getaway, this home is a representation of his passion for the outdoors. Traditional architectural design. For many years, Clint made Carmel his home. In 1986, he even held the office of mayor, demonstrating his dedication to the community. For Clint, Carmel is more than just a place to call home. He discovers tranquility there amidst the fast-paced lifestyle of Hollywood. Along with Carmel, Clint also owns a gorgeous residence in Pebble Beach, where he spends a lot of time taking in the peaceful surroundings and beautiful landscape. Situated on more than 4.7 acres of land, this estate exudes classic elegance and luxury with its historic Spanish-style architecture. After working on demanding film projects, Clint may fully unwind and re-establish a connection with nature at this location, which boasts a sizable pool, lush gardens, and breathtaking views of the ocean. Clint Eastwood is not just a Californian, he also has a house in Sun Valley, Idaho. A place well known for its ski resorts and stunning mountain views. The Sun Valley home is contemporary in style but still feels very much a part of the natural world. Clint uses it as a tranquil haven and a way to avoid the limelight. He also owns a sleek, modern estate in Bel Air, Los Angeles, which is distinguished by its elegant and cutting-edge architecture. Clint and #039's taste and distinct style are evident in each of these residences, demonstrating that in addition to being a skilled filmmaker, he also has an excellent sense of how to design living areas. Clint leads an active lifestyle that few people his age can match, even though he is in his 90s. He regularly appears in public at events such as movie premieres and cultural and humanitarian gatherings. Remarkably, Clint is still working as a filmmaker at the age of 94, which is evidence of his unwavering love and enthusiasm for films. Juror number 2, his most recent endeavor, is expected to be the last motion picture in his storied career. It is anticipated that this courtroom psychological drama will be a remarkable farewell to one of the finest filmmakers in film history. In addition to demonstrating his excellent health, Clint Eastwood and #039's attendance at public events demonstrates his unwavering optimism and excitement. Next to well-known environmentalist Jane Goodall, another symbol of commitment and passion for the natural world. Clint and #039's bright smile during the talk with Jane Goodall showed that, even at his senior age, he still has a lot of energy and an enthusiasm for life. Their conversation focused on their mutual conviction that preserving the ecosystem and the globe is crucial, rather than just their individual accomplishments. Clint continues to have a big impact in Hollywood through the movies he directs, even though he no longer acts in many different motion pictures. Clint has established an indelible legacy with his more than half-century of commitment to the film industry, which has included work as an actor, director, and producer. His career is characterized by his unwavering dedication to creativity at any age, in addition to the films he has produced. Fans have been worried about Clint Eastwood and #039's health, particularly after he stayed out of the spotlight for more than 450 days in 2022 and the first few months of 2023. This led to speculation over his health. These worries were allayed by Clint and #039's latest presence, though. He maintains his physical fitness by following a regular exercise schedule and a nutritious diet that he has done for many years. Clint is well known for his low-fat, high-protein diet and his emphasis on lowering his cholesterol, which is essential to protecting his health, particularly since his father died of heart disease. Clint Eastwood is 94 years old and still writing his life and #039's narrative. In addition to being a legend in the movie business, he is evidence that, as long as you have passion and objectives to follow, age is nothing more than a number. Millions of followers worldwide continue to find inspiration in Clint because of his everlasting energy and unrelenting excitement. The legacy of Clint Eastwood. Over the course of more than 60 years in the entertainment business, Clint Eastwood has not only played in innumerable iconic roles and produced well-known films, but he is also a symbol of tenacity and resolve. Clint and #039's ability to stay influential and make a lasting impact across Hollywood and #039's constantly shifting scene, from his early days to the present, is what makes him stand out from many other celebrities. Clint Eastwood is still working at the age of 94, still directing and, more significantly, still motivating the next generation. In retrospect, his reputation is defined not only by his huge on-screen and directorial triumphs but also by his unwavering perseverance in the face of adversity. For Clint, transcending all boundaries pertaining to age, health, and personal struggles has become a fundamental aspect of his identity. Clint has maintained a serious and concentrated work ethic over the years, even though he has attained every level of acclaim and celebrity that an actor and director could hope for. He has never let the demands of aging or societal expectations overwhelm him, remaining loyal to a modest lifestyle and a grounded filmmaking ethic. He has maintained a lengthy career and is still regarded as a timeless character in the hearts of fans around the world because of his modesty and tenacity. The greatest legacy of Clint Eastwood is not just the films he has directed or starred in, but also his perseverance and capacity for change. From a young cowboy to a strong director and, finally, a representation of perseverance, he has undergone constant change. Future generations will always be inspired by the principles he has instilled, not only via his films but also by his outlook on life and work. Clint has demonstrated that aging cannot stifle creativity or lessen a passion for the arts, despite the numerous changes in his life, which range from contentious relationships to the unavoidable deterioration in health with aging. Each of Clint and #039's films is an exploration of the human condition, where he consistently aims to investigate and convey the most profound facets of personality, feeling, and inner turmoil. Actors, filmmakers, and viewers everywhere will continue to draw inspiration from Clint Eastwood and #039's life and profession. Clint is still producing films at the age of 94, and his lasting influence will endure thanks to his extensive body of work. We wanted to share that tale with you today. Please like and share the video with friends who are as passionate about learning about the lives of iconic Hollywood figures as you are if you thought this tale was interesting. To ensure you don't and #039's miss any stories about your favorite celebrities, remember to subscribe to our channel. I and #039'll see you in the upcoming video.